This is the andouille sausage that we picked up from Jacob's world-famous andouille in La Place.
Jacob's smokehouses were really impressive. One's been around since the 1930s. It's got pecan wood resin more than an inch thick from 70 years of smoking meats and sausages.
You'll notice that there's a lot of a brown residue on the bottom of the pot here, and it's essentially the caramelized protein. These are called sucs in French, and that's actually really good. This has a wonderful smell coming off of it, nice smoky sausages coming through.
I'll add water to remove these bits of protein, which I'll later put back into the gumbo.
Get all those nice bits of flavor off. That's really what this is just pure flavor stuck to the bottom of the pan.
Next, we want to sear the chicken thighs in oil, skin side down first, until a golden crust develops.
Give it a little bit of a shake when it goes in, move it around a little bit, and then just let it sit there. These are just chicken thighs. I like chicken thighs because they stay tender and moist through the whole stewing process. When you move it around, it doesn't get the opportunity ever to sear and caramelize up. Now we're going to flip the chicken around and see it's got a nice golden color on there. It doesn't need to be too dark, just enough to render out some fat and cook it.
Next, I'll prep the vegetables.
In traditional French cooking, mirepoix, which is the basis of most stocks and sauces, is carrots, celery, and onions. In Cajun cuisine, it's actually green peppers, celery, and onions, the holy trinity, so to speak.
Now it's time to make the roux, the thickener for a gumbo. Sometimes, people also thicken with filet powder or okra, which I'll use in my Creole gumbo video.
And we're making the roux just like we did at Poppy's place. Traditionally, roux, you can really use any fat you want. As Poppy said, you can even use bear fat. A lot of people like to use the canola oil, but since there's so much really nice chicken fat in here already, I'm going to use that as the basis for the roux. Roux is really easy to burn, so you want to make sure that you're standing over it constantly and stirring it and making sure that it's really developing nicely. I prefer the wooden spoon because you can get a little bit more control in the scrapage. Maybe I'm just a traditional kind of guy. You'll see that it starts to change color almost immediately, and the smell that's coming off of here is like popcorn. It's pretty cool. This stuff is incredibly hot. This is called Cajun napalm. We're right about at the milk chocolate brown, and I'm going to add these onions now. Adding so much stuff all at the same time would really cool down the mixture, so you wouldn't really get as much caramelization in these natural sugars. Now I'm going to add the celery and green pepper here, and then garlic. We're just going to let this soften for a couple minutes and then add stock in here. You can use any kind of stock you want. For the meat-based one, you can use a chicken or a pork stock, and we'll add about 3 cups. I'm going to add the reserve liquid from the andouille sausage here. That'll bring some extra flavor to the party. And then we'll add the chicken and the andouille. We'll top that off with a couple bay leaves and a sprig of thyme. Then we'll bring it to a boil and turn it down to a simmer and let it cook out for about 45 minutes or so. One really nice thing about gumbo is it's one of those dishes that's even better on the second day.
I'll debone the chicken before throwing it back in the pot.
I'm going to take this cut up chicken, transfer it back into the gumbo, and we'll add a bit of scallions next, and that'll just give a layer of freshness in there. And a little bit of hot sauce, just Louisiana hot sauce. Just bang on right there.
We'll add the gumbo to some jasmine rice, which is a staple crop in Louisiana.
And we'll sprinkle a little bit of filet powder on top. Filet powder is actually ground sassafras leaves. Traditionally, it was ground by Native Americans, and it was used to thicken all of the gumbos and other sauces and things like that. So it brings flavor as well as thickening power to the bowl of gumbo. And so here we have it.
Meet more farmers, chefs, purveyors, and mixologists at eattv.com.